Hello everyone, this is Adrian. I am in San Francisco today, and today I'm gonna meet my friend Erika. I met her in Los Angeles last week and I'm gonna have an interview with her. So this is my first interview ever, so guys, please be patient. So today I'm with my friend Erika. I met her last week in Los Angeles and we are at the super cool spot at Swiss and this is right at the harbor, or at least at the pier. So thanks for having me.
No, thanks for having me. It's good that we met in Los Angeles and now we're in San Francisco, as you said, here at the Swiss Pier 17. I'm excited to see what curiosities you have.
Yeah, sure. Like, could you introduce yourself a little bit? Like, talk about you a little bit, and also what you've done so far.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Erika. I'm the founder of Emerging Visual Realities. This is actually the second company I've undertaken, and I studied a master's degree in business for social entrepreneurship. I've been motivated to figure out what is the future of an ethically run corporation, a corporation that is not just doing good in the world, but is intrinsically good in the world. And that's part of what's motivating me to experiment with different business models, looking at different ways of captivating people to engage with a lot of the initiatives and the products that I'm developing. Emerging Visual Realities is a virtual reality marketplace where user-generated content of virtual and augmented reality pieces can be purchased, sold, and licensed for use by different digital native magazines and news outlets. So we're primarily focused in content that is about current events and things that are culturally relevant to be shared with people all over the world.
Nice. So I know that you have been always engaged when it comes to social entrepreneurship. You were involved in something with GoPros and homeless people. Could you talk about this?
Yeah. So this is a company I started when I was still in my university studies. We at the time called it Homeless GoPro, and it shifted to Homeless Point of View. And the original intention was to share that first-person perspective experience of what it's like to be homeless in San Francisco, but also in other major urban areas all over the United States. So we worked with homeless individuals, nonprofit organizations, and hospitals to really figure out and identify what was the human experience of being homeless, and then working with groups to revamp their programs, services, and offerings based on the feedback that you'd get from that first-person perspective video that was shot by homeless volunteers who wanted people to see what life was like through their eyes.
So now you're the founder and the CEO of a company with virtual reality,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the connection between your experience that you got from Greece and from the other experiences you got to your company?
Well, I mean, the topics and the methods and even the groups of collaborators and partners are all a bit different. I would say the one thorough connection.
It's a cruise ship.
Yeah, it's fine. But the one thorough connection of all of it really is that I'm highly motivated to empower people. So with emerging visual realities, it's really at the top of Maslow's pyramid of needs in terms of self-actualization. It's an opportunity for people to feel that their voice is heard and their perspectives are valid. By offering folks an opportunity to make money through the licensing or sale of their images, their video footage, whether it's from a creative perspective to eyewitness accounts. Individuals have that opportunity, and we help them push their content out via syndication model to different subscribing digital magazines that are interested in experimenting with virtual reality as a daily content fulfillment for their social media channels.
Nice. So, as a social entrepreneur, you have encountered a problem and found a solution for this. So now I'd like to talk about, what do you think is the biggest challenge for young people from having the idea to the execution itself?
Yeah, I think what a lot of young entrepreneurs fail to realize is that step one of execution is actually validation.
Validation. So we got having the idea and then validation.
Yeah, because I think it's really easy to come up with ideas. People fill entire journals and notebooks full of ideas that never get acted upon. But that also doesn't mean that it's a good idea. And good idea in this case simply being something that people actually want. If there's no demand for this amazing idea, making sure that this is a strong idea, not just because you love it, but because other people want it and need it as well.
So how would you validate it? I mean, let's go a little deeper here.
Okay.
So how would you validate? What would be the first approach to validate an idea?
Yeah. So first approach to validating an idea is just get out the door. Hear as many yeses and nos as possible. So talk to people that are your target market. Talk
audience.
To people that might be a potential stakeholder. Talk to folks who might be potential partners, potential clients, potential contributors or users of this. Very rarely does any one product exist in isolation, so there are a number of interconnected organizations and groups that are going to help your product live and die. Talk to all of them and see if that fits into their needs.
Okay, so to sum this up, having the idea and then after that go out and talk to your target audience and get as many responses or as much response as you can get.
Yeah.
So what would happen after that? I mean, let's talk a little bit about the different phases that that a small company can actually have. Like we have the idea and the validation. What comes next?
Then next would be piloting.
Piloting?
Yeah, from validation, then you start running small experiments to see, is this something that's really going to fit into the, into what you think your idea is? Because a lot of the validation will begin to pivot your idea. If you're paying attention, if you're being responsive, you're going to start to shift away from what that original idea was, more toward what you know the demand really is. And
so basically getting a minimum viable product out, or
yeah, and I think a lot of folks, there's some confusion about how to use minimum viable products. People will build out an entire website and say this is minimum viable because I need the entire website to operate. When really what you needed was a survey form because you're trying to collect emails. Right, so really go back for minimum viable product to look at what is the root of what this thing needs to do.
Okay, so we got having the idea, validate the idea, and then pilot the idea.
Yes.
What's next?
Then you find someone to pay for those pilots. Ideally, you start reaching out to your market segment. I guess the underlying assumption on all of this is that you've done your proper research in terms of the market space, and you know exactly how to position whatever product or company it is that you're building. So you will have already identified a market segmentation to start working on small pilots. You have that conversation with them and be honest and say, we're still small, we're still learning. We're looking to get involved and help them be part of the creation of whatever it is you're building.
Nice.
And that's hugely exciting to a number of organizations who are also interested in learning about innovation and how that can help them as an organization to thrive as well. Then after that, it's really making sure that whatever product it is you're building, if it's digitally focused, that you're building something that is digitally scalable. So building out new infrastructures for that and start experimenting with not just the minimum viable product, then the paid pilots and implementation, and then really start growing the customer base.
So what I've noticed is that especially American students have normally huge student loans after they graduate. So therefore many people are afraid to start their own startup because it's a huge financial risk for them. What do you think about this, and how could young people still be encouraged to start their own business?
Yeah, well, so much about being encouraged just starts from within. If that is a passion that you have to pursue entrepreneurship, there's a lot of fears along the way, and being able to keep up with paying student loans is one of them. Unfortunately, American student loans is one of those things that not even death can clear you of those debts.
Oh, really?
And so no matter what, those debts will be paid. For myself, as an entrepreneur and getting going, this is just part of my monthly personal operating costs. So I keep several side gigs, special projects, things that are passion projects of mine, a part-time job, as well as running this startup full-time and doing a number of I'm just a little bit of everywhere. I think my work week is a minimum of 60 to 80 hours each week on the startup alone, and then it's finding the time and the opportunities to work in those paid projects as well, because they have every right to be a priority alongside a startup before it's funded, in order to make sure that my debts and my credits are clear. Otherwise, you run very little risk, or you run very little chance of being trusted with an investment or with a line of credit for your company if you let your student loans and other credit lines default.
So to sum this up, like even if you have student loans, this is just part of the deal as a young founder to work really hard, probably not only work 40 hours, not only 60 hours, but maybe 80 hours. This might sound a lot, but don't forget this is your passion project, and that's why it's so important to do something that you're really passionate about, because it's gonna be hard, it's gonna take time, and you're gonna have to work a lot. And of course, if you work for your own startup and you cannot live from that yet, you have to do side gigs or at least do something to pay your bills.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, that's no reason not to start.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Do you want to give us some sort of outro to young people and like some words to encourage them to chase their own dreams?
Your dreams and your ideas matter. It's part of what makes everything in this world as creative and exciting as it is. So, hopefully the fears and hesitations that you might have pursuing entrepreneurship is something that you can learn to embrace and use those fears as points to grow and learn from.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm almost home. I'm in Mission District, just had some Mexican food for dinner. I just wanted to say thank you to Erika for being my very first interview partner ever, and also a huge thank you to the nice people of SwissNext from the Swiss Embassy. They let us film at their pier and at their office. I also want to thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button and have a great day.